this year, of course, Palm Beach County is going to host a presidential debate at Lynn University. So Barack Obama and Mitt Romney will be debating one another in Palm Beach County this year. So the school district asked us to make the theme of the essay contest this year something to do with the presidential debate. So we decided that we would have an essay contest focused on the powers of the president to try to get the kids thinking, what is it we should be looking for when we watch this debate? What is the real job description of the President of the United States in the Constitution? So we decided that we would have an essay contest focused on the powers of the President to try to get the kids thinking, what is it we should be looking for when we watch this debate? What is the real job description of the President of the United States in the Constitution? So our essay question this year to all the middle schoolers in Palm Beach County was, which presidential power granted under the Constitution is the most important and why? And which limitation on presidential power is the most important and why?
Our first place finisher wrote an essay on the President's 5 chief powers and how his power as chief legislator is the most important. Let me give you an excerpt from his essay. In the Constitution of the United States, the President is given 5 powers, which are being chief executive, chief legislator, chief ambassador, commander-in-chief, and having judicial powers. I think that means powers to appoint. I think that one of the most substantial powers that the President possesses is being chief legislator. However, I also think that limitations to being chief legislator are critical as well. The chief legislator can do many things. If Congress passes a bill, the President can call Congress into a special session and veto the bill. In 2011, President Barack Obama vetoed a bill stating that Palestinians had the right to their own state. Former President Franklin D. Roosevelt holds the record for the most presidential vetoes, with 635. George Washington only had 2. The President also has the power to use his influence on colleagues to get a bill passed or proposed. On the contrary, there are also limitations to holding the position of chief legislator. Congress can vote to override the President's veto by a 2/3 majority. If Congress is called to a special session by the President, members of Congress do not have to pass any laws, and nobody in Congress must submit to the President's efforts to convince them of otherwise or the President's pressure. Let me now congratulate, with an award of $250, come on up to Cyrene Hilo. I'm going to present the award.
As is our tradition with this event, the preamble goes to the essay contest winner. So Cyrene Hilo, come on up and kick us off.
The preamble. We, the people of the United States, in order to form more perfect union, establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility, provide for the common defense, promote the general welfare, and secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves and our posterity, do ordain and establish this Constitution for the United States of America.
Section 1, the Congress. All legislative powers herein granted shall be vested in the Congress of the United States, which shall consist of a Senate and House of Representatives.
Article 1, Section 2, the House of Representatives. The House of Representatives shall be composed of members chosen every second year by the people of the several states. No person shall be a representative who shall not have attained to the age of 25 years and been 7 years a citizen of the United States, and who shall not, when elected, be an inhabitant of that state in which he shall be chosen. The House of Representatives shall choose their Speaker and other officers and shall have the sole power of impeachment.
The Senate of the United States shall be composed of 2 senators from each state, chosen by the legislature thereof, for 6 years, and each senator shall have 1 vote. No person shall be a senator who shall not have attained to the age of 30 years and been 9 years a citizen of the United States, and who shall not, when elected, be an inhabitant of the state for which he shall be chosen. The Vice President of the United States shall be President of the Senate, but shall have no vote, unless they be equally divided. The Senate shall have the sole power to try all impeachments.
Article 1, Section 4, Meetings of Congress. The times, places, and manner of holding elections for senators and representatives shall be prescribed in each state by the legislature thereof. But the Congress may at any time, by law, make or alter such regulations, except to the place of choosing senators. The Congress shall assemble at least once in every year, and such meeting shall be on the first Monday in December, unless they shall by law appoint a different day.
Article 1, Section 5, Rules of Congress. Each house shall be the judge of the election, returns and qualifications of its own members, and a majority of each shall constitute a quorum to do business. Each house may determine the rules of its proceedings, punish its members for disorderly behavior, and with the concurrence of 2/3, expel a member. Each house shall keep a journal of its proceedings and from time to time publish the same.
Article 1, Section 6, Senators and Representatives. The senators and representatives shall receive compensation for their services to be ascertained by law and paid out of the Treasury of the United States. They shall in all cases, except treason, felony, and breach of the peace, be privileged from arrest during their attendance at the session of their respective houses and in going to and returning from the same.
The passage of bills. Every bill which shall have passed the House of Representatives and the Senate shall, before it become a law, be presented to the President of the United States. If he approve, he shall sign it, but if not, he shall return it. If after such reconsideration 2/3 of that House shall agree to pass the bill, it shall be sent to the other House, by which it shall likewise be reconsidered, and if approved by 2/3 of that House, it shall become a law.
Article 1, Section 8, Powers of Congress. Congress shall have power to lay and collect taxes, duties, imposts, and excises, to pay the debts and provide for the common defense and general welfare of the United States, to borrow money on the credit of the United States, and to regulate commerce with foreign nations, among the several states, and with the Indian tribes.
Article 1, Section 8, Powers of Congress, continued. The Congress shall have power to establish a uniform rule of naturalization and uniform laws on the subject of bankruptcies throughout the United States, to coin money, regulate the value thereof, and a foreign coin, and fix the standard of weights and measures, to provide for the punishment of counterfeiting the securities and current coin of the United States, to establish post offices and post roads, to promote the progress of science and useful arts by securing for limited times to authors and inventors the exclusive right to their respective writings and discoveries.
The Congress shall have power to constitute tribunals inferior to the Supreme Court, to define and punish piracies and felonies committed on the high seas, and offenses against the law of nations, to declare war, and to raise and support armies.
Article 1, Section 8, Powers of Congress, continued even more so. The Congress shall have power to make all laws which shall be necessary and proper for carrying into execution the foregoing powers and all other powers vested by this Constitution in the government of the United States or in any department or officer thereof.
Article 1, Section 9. The privilege of the writ of habeas corpus shall not be suspended unless in the case of rebellion or invasion the public safety may require it. No bill of attainder of ex post facto law shall be passed. No money shall be drawn from the Treasury but in consequence of appropriations made by law, and a regular statement of account of the receipts and expenditures of all public money shall be published from time to time. No title of nobility shall be granted by the United States.
Article 2, Section 1. The executive power shall be vested in a President of the United States of America. He, or I'm going to add, or she, shall hold his office during the term of 4 years. No person except a natural-born citizen or a citizen of the United States at the time of the adoption of this Constitution shall be eligible to the office of President. Neither shall any person be eligible to that office who shall not have attained the age of 35 years and been 14 years a resident within the United States. Before he enter on the execution of his office, he shall take the following oath of affirmation. I do solemnly swear or affirm that I will faithfully execute the office of President of the United States and will, to the best of my ability, preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of the United States.
Section 2, President as Commander-in-Chief. The President shall be Commander-in-Chief of the Army and Navy of the United States and of the militia of the several states. He shall have power by and with the advice and consent of the Senate to make treaties, provided 2/3 of the senators present concur.
Article 2, Section 2, Powers of the President. The President shall nominate, and by and with the advice and consent of the Senate, shall appoint ambassadors, other public ministers and consuls, judges of the Supreme Court, and all other officers of the United States whose appointments are not herein otherwise provided.
The President shall from time to time give to Congress information of the State of the Union and recommend to their consideration such measures as he shall judge necessary and expedient. He may on extraordinary occasions convene both houses or either of them, and in the case of disagreement between them with respect to the time of adjournment, he may adjourn them to such time as he shall think proper. He shall receive ambassadors and other public ministers. He shall take care that the laws be faithfully executed.
Article 2, Section 4, Impeachment. The President, Vice President, and all civil officers of the United States shall be removed from office on impeachment for and conviction of treason, bribery, and other crimes and misdemeanors.
Article 3, Section 1, the Judiciary. The judicial power of the United States shall be vested in one Supreme Court and in such inferior courts as the Congress from time to time shall ordain and establish. The judges, both of the Supreme and inferior courts, shall hold their offices during good behavior.
Article 3, Section 2, Powers of the Judiciary. The judicial power shall extend to all cases in law and equity arising under the Constitution, the laws of the United States, and treaties made or which shall be made under their authority, to controversies to which the United States shall be a party, to controversies between two or more states, and between citizens of different states.
The trial of all crimes except in cases of impeachment shall be by jury, and such trial shall be held in the state where the crime shall have been committed.
Article 4, Section 1, Full Faith and Credit Clause. Full faith and credit shall be given in each state to the public acts, records, and judicial proceedings of every other state, and the Congress may, by general laws, prescribe the manner in which such acts, records, and proceedings shall be proved and the effect thereof.
I debated on using this step, but since Raymond didn't use it, I'm not going to use it. Article 4, Section 2, Privileges and Immunities. The citizens of each state shall be entitled to all privileges and immunities of citizens in the several states. A person charged in any state with treason, felony, or other crime, who shall flee from justice and be found in another state, shall on demand of the executive authority of the state from which he fled be delivered up to be removed to the state having jurisdiction of the crime.
Actually, this is Article 5, Amendments. The Congress, whenever 2/3 of both houses shall deem it necessary, shall propose amendments to this Constitution, or, on the application of the legislatures of 2/3 of the several states, shall call a convention for proposing amendments, which has never happened, by the way, which in either case shall be valid to all intents and purposes as part of this Constitution when ratified by the legislatures of 3/4 of the several states or by conventions in 3/4 thereof.
Article 4, Section 6, religious tests prohibited. The senators and representatives before mentioned, and the members of the several state legislatures, and all executive and judicial officers, both of the United States and of the several states, shall be bound by oath or affirmation to support this Constitution. But no religious test shall ever be required as a qualification to any office or public trust under the United States.
Ratifications and signatories done in convention by the unanimous consent of the states present the 17th day of September in the year of our Lord, 1787, and of the independence of the United States of America, the 12th. In witness whereof we have hereunto subscribed our names, among others, George Washington, President and Deputy from Virginia, Alexander Hamilton, Benjamin Franklin, Robert Morris, James Madison Jr., John Rutledge, and William Jackson, Secretary.
Preamble to the Bill of Rights. The conventions of a number of the states having at the time of their adopting the Constitution expressed a desire, in order to prevent misconstruction or abuse of its powers, that further declaratory and restrictive clauses should be added, and as extending the ground of public confidence in the government will best ensure the beneficent ends of its institution. Resolved by the Senate and House of Representatives of the United States of America, in Congress assembled, 2/3 of both houses concurring, that the following articles be proposed to the legislatures of the several states as amendments to the Constitution of the United States, all or any of which articles, when ratified by 3/4 of the said legislatures, to be valid to all intents and purposes as part of the said Constitution.
First Amendment. Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof, or abridging the freedom of speech or of the press or of the right of the people peaceably to assemble and to petition the government for a redress of grievances.
Second Amendment. A well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed.
Shelby Raven, reading in place of Greg Weiss, President of the Martin County Bar Association.
The Third Amendment. No soldier shall, in time of peace,
Peaceable in time of peace. There's a typo in the Constitution. Shall in time of peace be quartered.
in time of peace, be quartered in any house, without the consent of the owner, nor in time of war, but in a manner to be prescribed by law.
The Fourth Amendment. The right of the people to be secure in their persons, houses, papers, and effects against unreasonable searches and seizures shall not be violated, and no warrants shall issue but upon probable cause, support by oath or affirmation, and particularly describing the place to be searched and the persons or things to be seized.
The Fifth Amendment. No person shall be held to answer for a capital or otherwise infamous crime unless on a presentment or indictment of a grand jury, except in cases arising in the land or naval forces or in the militia when in actual service in time of war or public danger. Nor shall any person be subject for the same offense to be twice put in jeopardy of life or limb, nor shall be compelled in any criminal case to be a witness against himself, nor be deprived of life, liberty, or property without due process of law, nor shall private property be taken for public use without just compensation.
In all criminal prosecutions, the accused shall enjoy the right to a speedy and public trial by an impartial jury of the state and district wherein the crime shall have been committed, which district shall have been previously ascertained by law, and to be informed of the nature and cause of the accusation,
to be confronted with the witnesses against him, to have compulsory process for obtaining witnesses in his favor, and to have the assistance of counsel for his defense.
Seventh Amendment is better known as the right to trial by jury, and it reads, in suits at common law where the value in controversy shall exceed $20, thereof the right of trial by jury shall be preserved, and no fact tried by a jury shall be otherwise re-examined in any court of the United States than according to the rules of the common law.
Eighth Amendment. Excessive bail shall not be required, nor excessive fines imposed, nor cruel and unusual punishments inflicted.
The Ninth Amendment. The enumeration in the Constitution of certain rights shall not be construed to deny or disparage others retained by the people.
10th Amendment. The powers not delegated to the United States by the Constitution nor prohibited by it to the states are reserved to the states respectively or to the people.
13th Amendment. Neither slavery nor involuntary servitude, except as a punishment for crime whereof the party shall have been duly convicted, shall exist within the United States or any place subject to their jurisdiction.
All persons born or naturalized in the United States and subject to the jurisdiction thereof are citizens of the United States and the state in which they reside. No state shall make or enforce any law which shall abridge the privileges or immunities of citizens of this United States, nor shall any state deprive any person of life, liberty, or property without due process of law, nor deny to any person within its jurisdiction the equal protection of the laws.
The 15th Amendment was passed in 1870 and reads as follows. The rights of citizens of the United States to vote shall not be denied or abridged by the United States or by any state on account of race, color, or previous condition of servitude.
The Congress shall have power to lay and collect taxes on incomes from whatever source derived, without apportionment among the several states, and without regard to any census or enumeration.
19th Amendment, 1920. The right of citizens of the United States to vote shall not be denied or abridged by the United States or by any state on account of sex.
22nd Amendment was passed in 1951. No person shall be elected to the office of the President more than twice, and no person who has held the office of President or acted as President for more than 2 years of a term to which some other person was elected President shall be elected to the office of President more than once.
24th Amendment is about poll taxes. To tell you something about Ryan's sense of humor, he asked me to read this because my wife is Polish. She appreciates that. The 24th Amendment was passed by Congress in 1962. It was ratified in 1964. The right of citizens of the United States to vote in any primary or other election for president or vice president, for electors for president or vice president, or for senator or representative in Congress, shall not be denied or abridged by the United States or by any state by reason of failure to pay any poll tax or other tax.
The 26th Amendment, 1971. The right of citizens of the United States who are 18 years of age or older to vote shall not be denied or abridged by the United States or by any state on account of age.
The 27th Amendment, which was in 1992, no law varying the compensation for the services of the senators and representatives shall take effect until an election of representatives shall have intervened.
Members, that is the Constitution of the United States. Please give a great round of applause for our members. I hope that you all think that is as cool as we think it is. Some people think it's a little nerdy, but we really think it's cool to hear the Constitution being read. And it never fails that there are people in the audience who tell us afterwards, we didn't know that was in the Constitution, but it really is. So the bar is open. We paid for these drinks, so everyone please stay and have another drink. And again, thank you all for attending this great event and supporting the National Constitution.